Hi there. It's July 17th and time for Proverbs 17. There. But this chapter always reminds me of Thanksgiving for some reason. You'll see why. Verse 1, better a dry crust with peace than a house full of feasting with strife. Yeah, what does that sound like? Right. You go get together with people you only see once or twice a year, and they have very different ideas of things like politics and sports teams and right strife. 2, a wise servant will rule over a disgraceful son and share an inheritance among brothers. We don't have servants now. 3, a crucible is for silver and a smelter for gold, and the Lord is the tester of hearts. Got that? A crucible is a pot that is heated up. It melts silver inside of it. A smelter is a furnace that melts gold. Right? And when you melt silver and gold, all the impurities float to the top because the silver and gold is heavier. And you can scrape that off, throw it away, and you're left with pure gold and pure silver. Right? It can be used for things. The Lord does that with the heart. Okay, melts it down, scrapes the bad stuff off, forms a new heart. All right. You remember the old chorus, create in me a clean heart and renew a right spirit within me? That's a verse somewhere. It can be a painful process, but the outcome is always beautiful, right? Okay, 4, a wicked person listens to malicious talk. A liar pays attention to a destructive tongue. Right? That's gossip, right? Lips of iniquity, gossip. A wicked person listens to gossip. All right, malicious, that's meaning to harm. Okay? If somebody does something maliciously, they're doing it on purpose to hurt something. Right? A liar pays attention to a destructive tongue. Okay? We'll touch back on that. 5, the one who mocks the poor insults his maker, and one who rejoices over calamity will not go unpunished. Right? It's another place. If you rejoice when your enemies lose, God may, right? If you gloat, right, which is prideful behavior, God may take the anger off of them and put it on you. Okay? Jesus said to love your enemies. Right? Those who rejoice over calamity will not go unpunished, right? If you insult or mock the poor, you are insulting God himself. Think about that. 6, grandchildren are the crown of the elderly, and the pride of their sons is their fathers. Now, this is true if you watch grandkids, and if you watch grandkids loving on their grandparents, and you watch the sons sitting there prideful, that's my dad, and my son loves my dad, that's a good thing, okay? Good thing. I'm there. So. 7, eloquent words are not appropriate on a fool's lips, and how much worse are lies for a ruler. High talk. This is the lip of excellency. Right. Ever heard of fools speak eloquently? I haven't, but we have heard rulers lie, though, haven't we? A bribe seems like a magic stone to its owner. Wherever he turns, he succeeds. People paying these bribes, I think they're getting away. Right? That's not a good thing. Okay? Bribing in most instances is illegal. It seems to be except in government, right? 9, whoever conceals an offense promotes love, but whoever gossips about it separates friends. Right? More on gossip, right? Somebody offends you, conceal it. Hide it. Don't go around, well, you wouldn't believe what this person did to me, right? That's gossiping about it, okay? 10, a rebuke cuts into a perceptive person more than 100 lashes into a fool. That's true. Right? The reproof entereth into him more into him that hath understanding than 100 stripes into a fool. Right. 11, an evil man seeks only rebellion. A cruel messenger will be sent against him. Right. Merciless angel. Wow. Up here, cruel messenger. By the messenger is meant such means as God useth to punish rebels. Or a merciless angel. Right. Some people that just want to fight, okay, and cause trouble and set things on fire. Right? I had to sneeze and pause for a second. Hey, 12. Better for a man to meet a bear robbed of her cubs than a fool in his foolishness. Well, that's a big statement, huh? Fool in his folly. There's a note over here. Whereby he meaneth the wicked in his rage, who hath no fear of God. Right. Now, I wouldn't want to meet a bear robbed of her cubs. That's probably the meanest thing in the world. And they're 7 feet tall and have 6-inch nails, right? And he's saying, it's better to meet that than a fool in his foolishness. 13, if anyone returns evil for good, evil will never depart from his house. Got that? Somebody does something nice for you and you do something evil in return, evil will never depart from your house. Think about that. You're letting demons in, right? 14, to start a conflict is to release a flood. Stop the dispute before it breaks out. Okay? This is one of the verses we talked about a couple days ago. 15, the chapter all about conflict and arguing and debating with people. Right? And this goes with that. Right? Don't start the argument. Right? Stop it before it breaks out. Right? Sound advice. 15, acquitting the guilty and condemning the just. Both are detestable to the Lord. Are they doing that? You bet they are. Let's look at the past 5 years. It's been nothing but that, right? 16, why does a fool have money in his hand with no intention of buying wisdom? Okay. Because they're fools. Right? Right. I like to read the notes over here. What availeth it the wicked to be rich, seeing he settleth not his mind to wisdom? Right. 17, a friend loves at all time, and a brother is born for a difficult time. Right. You have friends, just around, they're friends. But when trouble starts, all right, and the storm comes, you find out who your brothers are. All right. Here's a note over here. So that he is more than a friend or even a brother that helpeth in time of adversity. Right. Find out who your real friends are. 18. One without sense enters an agreement and puts up security for a friend. Co-signing, okay, I'm not co-signing again. Don't co-sign. One without sense co-signs. 19. One who loves to offend loves strife. One who builds a high threshold invites injury. A high gate, high threshold. Lifteth himself up above his degree. Right. Oh, there are lots of people that do that, huh? They lift themselves up above their degree. Right? Inviting injury. Let's highlight that. Just for kicks, right? One with a twisted mind will not succeed. One with deceitful speech will fall into ruin, right? At some point, it'll catch up with you, right? If you tell lies and you build a house of cards, and pretty soon you have to tell lies to cover other lies, and it just takes one card being knocked away for the whole house to come down, right? Fall into ruin. A man fathers a fool to his own sorrow. The father of a fool has no joy. Right. We all have known people like this, right? All you can do is keep praying for them, right? There has been fools that have been fools for 50 years, and their parents prayed for them for 50 years, and somewhere they finally hit bottom and they figure out, right? And come out of their foolishness. Something else my grandma said: a joyful heart is good medicine, right? But a broken spirit dries up the bones, right? And we are body, we are soul, spirit, and body, right? And if you break somebody's spirit, right, then there's nothing left. Okay, that makes them a very hollow person. Many homeless people are there because they have a broken spirit. Okay, it's not because they can't do stuff, not because they can't get a job. It's because they have a broken spirit. Okay, if you lose everything, okay, if your family is killed in an accident and you're left, that can break your spirit. Okay, and that's something you don't get over easily. Hey, 23. A wicked man secretly takes a bribe to subvert the course of justice. A wicked man secretly takes a bribe. Now, what do we read up here? It's blue for a reason, right? A bribe seems like a magic stone to its owner. Wherever he turns, he succeeds. A wicked man secretly takes the bribe to subvert the course of justice, right? There are representatives. They know their constituents want this. They need this. They want this to pass. We're sending you to Washington to work on getting this passed to make our lives easier. And somebody comes in with a bribe and gives them a bunch of money to vote the other way of that, subvert the course of justice. That's how it happens. It ought to be illegal, okay? They call it lobbying. That too should be illegal in my view. Hey, 24. Wisdom is the focus of the perceptive, but a fool's eyes roam to the ends of the earth. Corners of the world. That is, wander to and fro, and seek not after wisdom. Right. Everyone has a lot of people saying they're called flat earthers now. They think the earth is flat, and some think the earth is round. I don't know which is right, but I do know in the Bible, it often says ends of the earth, right? Corners of the world. Just saying, man. A round ball has no end, okay? So, make of that what you will. Wisdom is the focus of the perceptive. Okay. After wisdom, right? You get it for yourself. You don't get it to show off for anybody else. You get wisdom only for yourself, right? 25. A foolish son is grief to his father and bitterness to the one who bore him, right? Right? Kind of like the one up here, right? A man fathers a fool to his own sorrow. The father of a fool has no joy. A foolish son is a grief to his father and bitterness to the one who bore him. Do you think maybe Solomon had a son that was a rebel? Maybe. I mean, he had 700 wives, so I imagine he had at least one child that was, right, rebellious and foolish. Right. 26. It is certainly not good to fine an innocent person or to beat a noble for his honesty. They do that too, don't they? Surely it is not the good to just, nor that the princes should smite such for equity, or their well-doing. Right? Noble unfairly. find an innocent person and beat somebody for telling the truth. They do that, don't they? 27, the intelligent person restrains his words, and one who keeps a cool head is a man of understanding. Right? It goes back to chapter 15 with our chapter on arguing. Okay, we'll put all these together at some point for a study. The intelligent person restrains his words, and one who keeps a cool head, right, is a man of understanding. Can you do that when you're arguing with your wife or your friends or having a debate? And keep calm and cool. Restrain your words. Don't blurt out things. Because we all want to be men of understanding. And 28, even a fool is considered wise when he keeps silent, discerning when he seals his lips. Yeah, if you're a fool, shut up. If you're smart, shut up, right? Keep silent. So there's chapter 17. We'll go over our highlights here. Highlight 1 is just because it reminds me of, family get-togethers and feasting with strife, right? Better a dry crust with peace than a house full of feasting with strife. For whereas where many sacrifices, there were many portions given to the people wherewith they feasted. Okay. Right. Just stay home, right? 3, a crucible for silver and a smelter for gold, and the Lord is the tester of hearts. We talked about that, right? Before they make jewelry or things out of gold and silver, they have to purify it by melting it down and scraping off all the impurities. And it's called slag in the industry, okay, that they scrape off. Okay, the Lord can do that with your heart if you ask him. Okay? Does it hurt? Yeah, it can. 4 is highlighted. A wicked person listens to malicious talk. A liar pays attention to a destructive tongue. Right. If you read this other agreement with it, whoever conceals an offense promotes love. Whoever gossips about it separates friends. Right? A wicked person listens to malicious talk. Conceals an offense. Okay? A liar pays attention to a destructive tongue. Whoever gossips about it separates friends. Okay? Just let it go, okay? If somebody offends you, let it go. Pray for them. Okay, 7 is highlighted. I can't remember why. Eloquent words are not appropriate on a fool's lips. Much worse are lies for a ruler. Eloquent words are not appropriate on a fool's lips. If they speak, you're not going to believe them anyways, right? So, right. And 8 and 23 go together. So we'll read this together. A bribe seems like a magic stone to its owner. Wherever he turns, he succeeds. 23. A wicked man secretly takes a bribe to subvert the course of justice. Right? People that give bribes aren't good people because they do it in secret, right? To change something that's not supposed to be changed. Goes on a lot, especially in government. 9. Whoever conceals an offense promotes love, but whoever gossips about it separates friends. Right? Let it go. Again, just let it go. Okay? You're not going to do any good by gossiping and telling somebody else about a problem you had with somebody else. Okay? Because you're just trying to tear that person down. Right? Not a good thing. Okay? 14. More on arguing, right? To start a conflict is to release a flood. Stop the dispute before it breaks out. Right. And we're going to do a whole session on arguing and debating and put all those together. 15 is highlighted. Acquitting the guilty and condemning the just, both are detestable to the Lord. Does this go on? You bet it does. Oh my goodness. A lot of pardons flying around last year, right? And they're finding out that they weren't really supposed to be done. See what happens with that. Acquitting the guilty and condemning the just. Detestable to the Lord. 19 is highlighted. One who loves to offend loves strife. One who builds a high threshold invites injury. Right? You put yourself above your station, and somebody who knows everything is going to knock you down. Right? And there are people who love to offend people. Right? There are people that have made livings off offending other people, and they like all the strife and that comes with it. Right? I never liked this kind of comedians that do their whole act picking people out of the audience and tearing them down for wearing a shirt that he doesn't approve of, or hats, or the way they look, or right, just to hurt that person. Right? He likes strife. Okay? Joyful heart is good medicine, but a broken spirit dries up the bones. Says sorrowful mind. Right. And we talked about broken spirits. It's hard to get over. Okay. You need a hug from God. Have you ever asked God for a hug? Try it sometime. Right? I have found out when I have been in my lowest point, there's been 3 or 4 times in my 65 years where I have been at very, very low points. Everybody had left me and I was in the dark, all alone. And that's where I found God. Okay. Every time, that's where I found God. I found out that's all I needed. Okay, we did that one. 26, it is certainly not good to find an innocent person or to beat a noble for his honesty. Do they do that? Yeah, they do. Okay. You find innocent, somebody very famous. They tried to fine him hundreds of millions of dollars and he did nothing. Okay. But what did they do? It's up here. Right? Acquitting the guilty and condemning the just. Finding innocent people. Happens. You can watch it happening. Right? The intelligent person restrains his words, and one who keeps a cool head is a man of understanding. More on our arguing, okay? Restrain your words. Keep your mouth shut. Don't blurt things out. Keep a cool head. All right? That means not yelling. You be a man of understanding. All right? And a good saying, even a fool is considered wise when he keeps silent, discerning when he seals his lips. All right? If you don't know about something, keep quiet. Just sit there quietly. And they'll think you're wise because you're being quiet. All right? So there you go. That's Proverbs 17. Good stuff. Well, stay tuned later today. I think we're on Acts 20 or 21 and are through the New Testament in a year. They're very short videos, just usually 5 minutes or so, because they stretch the New Testament out through a whole year. And it gives us a chance to really dig into stuff. So stay tuned for that. Give us a like if you think about it. And tomorrow we'll continue. See you then.